flowers. Like flowers, I don't know how to stress. You gotta do what when I'm home, somewhere all alone, I'm reading, preparing for war with these demons, exercising, practicing my breathing, live for purpose, there's nothing for no reason. I come home, then I work out, clean up and cook, take a shower, write a rhyme, then I pick up a book, maybe some John Henry Clark, Christopher Columbus and the African Holocaust, no need for no Holocaust, maybe some Amos Wilson psychological development of African children. It's time for some building, blueprint for black power, dropping facts how the system creates Uncle Tom's traitors and black cowards. Marcus Garvey, his opinions and philosophies, he's one of the greatest, my brother, he got to be. Come on, no TV, my brother, we got to read, soldiers gotta be sober, so my brothers put out the heat. Here is down sanctuary, they hunger for dreams, it's documented. When I read it, I started to weep. I'm up all night studying, falling to sleep, gotta finish the ISIS papers, the chapter is deep. When I'm home, somewhere all alone, I'm reading, preparing for war with these demons, exercising, practicing my breathing, live for a purpose, do nothing for no reason. When I'm home, somewhere all alone, I'm reading, preparing for war with these demons, exercising, practicing my breathing, live for a purpose, do nothing for no reason. I'm not reading no trashy novels, I'm not watching no Medea. Nah, I'm reading live from death row, Robin Free, reading some George Jackson, blood in my eye, I'm a soldier. Just in case you were wondering why the autobiography of Malcolm X gave me self-respect. So if a crack of disrespect, I'm pulling out the check. Layla Africa, African, holistic health, Claude Anderson, black labor and white wealth, powernomics. Most of y'all is hooked on chronics. You better pick up the book, you're hooked on phonics. Read on the horizon by an irritated gene. Yeah, I'm building with the brother every time I go to DC. Black Holocaust 2000, by Dale Jones. And the information in that book, the swell dome. Reading some UEP, the doc of the people, revolutionary suicide. The music is free. When I'm home, somewhere all alone, I'm reading, preparing for war with these demons, exercising, practicing my breathing, live for a purpose, do nothing for no reason. When I'm home, somewhere all alone, I'm reading, preparing for war with these demons, exercising, practicing my breathing, live for a purpose, do nothing for no reason.
Peace. This is Mayaba Alene. I am representing a thought, a movement, a philosophy, and we will be ultimately victorious, and we will not be defeated.
Peace, and welcome to the Message to the Black Fam program. I am your host, Angela Freeman. Now, let me tell you why, because usually when I write, I go by Angela Freeman, but when I'm on War on the Horizon, people always call me Lady Shabazz. So why the change? To be honest, I've been thinking about just dropping the Lady Shabazz thing for a while because I just happened to Google Lady Shabazz once just to see what came up. And it's some tranny down in Atlanta dancing to single ladies, Beyonce or whatever, in his little bathing suit or whatever you call it, I don't know, with the name Lady Shabazz. That was like one of the first things that popped up. So I was already like, should I keep it? I mean, it is my name. I'm Nation of Islam. It's rightfully mine. Shouldn't no tranny be going around with the name Shabazz? So should I keep it or should I let it go? I was like, well, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and keep it. Then, if y'all listened to Brother Genie's show last week and heard that debate about Tyler Perry being a spiritual giant, I'm sorry. As y'all, if you heard it, y'all probably could tell I wasn't too happy about the way the discussion was going. To me, that was so embarrassing that I don't need to be associated with that at all. So yes, my religious philosophy is still my religious philosophy. I've always, that's kind of private. It's not something I push on anybody else anyway. But with the madness that's coming out of some of the branches of the Nation of Islam right now, I just don't really need to be associated with the madness. I love the Nation of Islam. I love Elijah Muhammad, the messenger, and everything that he stood for. But I just can't do it. I'm sorry. So yes, I will still respond if you call me Lady Shabazz. That's not a problem. I don't get offended. You know, that's me. That's what everybody's called me for years now. But officially, it's Angela Freeman. I can't. I have a little line, and they not only crossed that line, they stomped on it. Some of the things that were said in that show was just a little much for me. So that's number one. Have a couple other announcements before we get into the meat of the show today, which is going to be very, very interesting because we have one of our favorite guests coming back. Another announcement is that we have a new program on War on the Horizon. It airs Wednesdays, every Wednesday from 7 to 9. It's called Live Free or Die, and the hosts are from a group called the Sovereign Haiti Initiative. And they have a lot of energy. I've really enjoyed the last couple of shows. We've had some technical issues here or there, but the shows have still been excellent. I think that you'll really enjoy it. They're posted on YouTube. If you want to look, just go to my page, Angela Freeman, and you'll see some of the, I think the first two shows. I think they've done two shows. And they've both been very interesting, very powerful brother and sister. You will like them, so check them out tomorrow. Another announcement. We have some new music coming on. Brother Omowali from United Front has been working very hard on his CD. It's called Cypher Incomplete, and it will be coming out next month. He's wrapping it up now and getting it all together, making sure that everything is high quality as we would expect, especially after the Black Power Manhood rap CD. So be looking for that. Start saving your money because you know you're going to need it. We all need some new music. It's been a minute. And it's guaranteed to be hot. I think that the first song he's going to release is called Sevens Up. I've had that song in my possession for a while, but I'm not going to leak it. Just know that it is hot, and it will definitely meet everything that you expect from a War on the Horizon CD. So we have that out of the way. May 18th is going to be my book signing in Detroit, Michigan. So if you have bought either God's Gift, Conscious Entertaining, or the Conscious Book of ABCs, and you like to have it signed, come on up. No excuse. If you live within driving distance, Chicago, Indianapolis, Fort Wayne, Cincinnati, Columbus, Cleveland, Flint, anywhere in the vicinity, we expect you there because it's not too often that War on the Horizon gets to this part of the country. United Front will be there as well. That's going to be right around the time Brother Omowali drops his CD. So definitely come hear United Front perform. Brother Genie will be doing 2 lectures, The Effeminization of the Black Male, as well as Mind Your Black Business 2. So that's going to be just a powerful day. It's going to be at Nandi's Knowledge Cafe. That's on Woodward Avenue in Highland Park, Michigan. And it's going to be from 2 in the afternoon all the way until 9. Of course, Nandi got the food there, fish, hamburgers, veggie burgers, whatever you need. So come on and stop by, say hi, and get your book signed. I want to say thank you to my brothers and sisters over in France, who I just did an interview with just a couple hours ago. I believe, now look, my French is rusty. I haven't taken it in a long time, so if I butcher it, my bad. I believe the show is called Afro Insolent. That might be a ghetto French translation. You get the picture. But thank you so much. I definitely enjoyed myself on your program. The brothers and sisters over there got a lot of consciousness, asking a lot of really good questions, and really interested in maybe bringing War on the Horizon over there and getting that message out. So we definitely thank our brothers and sisters over in France. And tomorrow there will be another interview about God's Gift with a sister named Denise Bowles. It's going to be a blog talk interview. And if you need more information on that, you can check out either my personal Facebook page or the God's Gift page. I'll be posting information on both of those pages about the interview tomorrow if you want to tune in. I want to thank you to all the supporters who have been buying all 3 books so far. definitely want to thank you for that. A lot of people who bought good God's Gift are buying Conscious Entertaining just on the strength of, don't really know much about it. I haven't really promoted it thus far, so I definitely thank them for supporting me as far as the books, the blog, YouTube, all that. Definitely appreciate it. So today we're going to be talking about the latest book that I've released. It's called Conscious Entertaining. And I'm going to have a very special guest on, Sister Divine is Earth. If you remember last year, we had her on two or three times. And every time she's on, everybody gets very excited. She's very knowledgeable in herbs and natural health. So feel free, if you have any questions or concerns about that, you can call on in and ask her. But the main topic of the show is going to be the book Conscious Entertaining. And I realized I needed to do a program for this because people kept on asking me about God's Gift, and they'd be like, yeah, and we're going to have to get your other book too. Didn't even know the name, don't even know what it's about. I said, you know what, I need to do better. Let me tell them a little bit about the book and why I wrote the book. And wanted to have Sister Divine as Earth on as well because she actually did the foreword for me, because I know that she knows a lot about Black culture, Black history, how things do it. She down south, so you know she's doing it right, and knows the importance of entertaining. So I had her do the foreword and definitely wanted to have her on this program as well. Conscious Entertaining basically came about after I wrote God's Gift. I was waiting on it to be edited. And I really wasn't planning on writing another book, but I was watching some clips from Fighting the Poltergeist. And I started thinking about how much time we spend in front of a television, especially conscious people, because when we become conscious, we feel like our life is over. Like we can't do anything. We can't go to the club. We can't go sometimes around family and holidays and all this stuff. We really kind of isolate ourselves. And unfortunately, sometimes with that isolation, we're not doing anything productive. We're watching TV and digesting all this stuff from the media. So I started thinking about what are some things that we can do to entertain at home, make the home our base, so that we don't always have to go out and we don't feel like in order to have a good time, we have to be out in the public necessarily, but we can bring people to us and still have a social life. So I thought that it would be really cool to kind of compile those ideas into a book. And of course, when you're entertaining, a big part of entertaining is food. If you got Black people, you got to have food. And a brother told me once, if you're going to have people over and you're not going to be doing no kind of drugs or alcohol, your food better be good. Because ain't no Black people coming over to your house to just sit there and eat some nasty food. Ain't no intoxicants on the premises. You better make some good food. So I put some recipes in there too that are pretty easy to make and that most people will be able to eat. So that was really the basis of the book. And I would say, in my mind, I thought it was kind of a girly book, and it probably is. But I had an experience yesterday. When I was coming home, I've been on vacation for about a month or so, and I was on the way home, and I was struggling with this bag because I had went shopping and got too much stuff, and I was struggling trying to lift this bag up, and none of the brothers on the bus would help me. Like I asked, like two brothers who was sitting right next to me, they would not help me, and then this one young brother was just wonderful. He was very polite, came over and put my bags up for me. And it was really bothering me the whole time, like, because these other brothers were not man enough to help a sister who asked them to help her. So I was like, what can I do for this brother? And I really didn't have too much. I had sold out of God's Gift, so I had a copy of Conscious Entertaining, and I signed it. I said, I don't want to be weird, but I'm an author. Here's my book. It's just like a thank you. You can read it if you want to, if it's not really your thing, because it ain't look like it was his thing. I was like, sell it on eBay if you want to. It's signed. It's probably worth something, so go ahead. And I went and sat down. And then when we got off, he came up to me and said, wow, I really like this book. There's a lot of good ideas in it. I'm going to give it to my mom. I think she could use it in entertaining, whatever. So if this young brother could get something out of it, then I don't know, maybe it's not as much of a girly book as I thought it was. So definitely wanted to do a show just to give you a little insight about what the book is about, and actually just to build on the topic a little bit more, because it's not something that we generally do. A lot of people might not think that that's like a revolutionary thing to do, but it really can be. When you think about our children and why a lot of times they don't want to be conscious, why they don't stay with the movement when they're older, it's because they feel like they've missed out on so much as children. Sometimes they can't celebrate birthdays, they can't celebrate Christmas, and they just feel like their whole childhood was wasted, which is kind of a silly thing to do, but that's what happens when you're raised in a European society. So anyway, I'm going to stop rambling on because I want to bring my guest on, but that is really the premise of the book. And to add on to that, I'm going to bring on my sister, who was so nice enough to write the foreword for me. Sister Divine, are you there?
Peace, sis.
Peace.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. How are you?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for coming on again.
Oh, it's no problem. I'm excited to be here again, and I'm excited to talk about this book because it's phenomenal, and I'm definitely encouraging everybody who's on the line and who'll be listening in the archives to make sure you copy. This is a great book. It's great to have not only on your shelf, but to actually keep reading it and revisiting the concepts that's in the book.
Thank you so much. When I was writing it, there's you did the foreword, and there's another really, really great sister who wrote an article for it as well. And I thought of you two because I know that you both like to entertain. And I remember all the times when I had you on the show and you'd be talking about like one thing, but you just be dropping bombs here and there. And I was learning so much. I said, I got to have this sister write something for the book.
Indeed, you hit on so many things on your intro about conscious people, or I like to call myself, this is old school, I like to call myself a race woman. And we the lineage of, Ida B. Wells, Harriet Tubman, used to be a time we called those people race men, race women, because they were fighters and workers for the race and the upliftment of the race, okay? So when we become into that, doing that work, a lot of times, nowadays, not only does our mindset change, our eating habits change, and our surroundings are changing, and people are just outright rude. It makes no sense if you've been a Muslim or you've not been eating pork since 1990, and still every holiday, every time it's a get-together, the people that's hosting you, telling you need to come, we all still family, still ain't got nothing but pork at the table. That's rude. You know what I'm saying? That's rude. And it's unfortunate because if you really want, if it's getting together is really about family and camaraderie and fellowship, then you're supposed to want everybody to eat. And one of those great things is to make sure that there's something on the table that people can enjoy, that they can talk about, and they can say, oh, Auntie, could you please make that potato salad that you always make that don't have eggs or, mayonnaise in it, that's delicious. And, you used to get pride out of making sure that a person ate something that you made that they just love and always want you to make it. And for some reason, that's been falling by the wayside. So with your book and with us talking about it, willfully folks will revisit or think about maybe how maybe they've been rude in the past and how to, clean that up for in their household.
Yes, ma'am. And you've talked about that before, and I've been wondering, what happened, do you think? How did we go? Because it was a time, like you said, when you would be so proud that you could make a meal and people would appreciate it. It was a real badge of honor. Like if you wanted to compete righteously, it's okay, look, I'm about to throw down. When these people come over, my house is going to be nice.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all going to be talking about this for a minute. And now, like you said, it's like, you got some kind of dietary restriction. I ain't got time for that. What happened?
Right. Just, I think with us getting more and more into commercial Western society, and we assume everybody eats the same thing, which is very weird because even people that eat pork or eat what you may call garbage food or run-of-the-mill McDonald's, Burger King, even those people eat differently. You know what I'm saying? Some people don't eat eggs. Some people don't like cheese on their burger. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Is everybody has a little thing that is different or they don't like, and that's normal. So I think we've gotten away from knowing how to entertain guests. It's not just about, hey, come over and spend time with me. You know, this ego type of thing. I want you to come over. We're doing this for grandma. You should come over. You're doing me a favor if you coming over. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have this attitude where, you know, just letting somebody into your house, like that's some big, lofty, I don't know. It's really Caucasian, very devilish of us lately. It's very devilish of us lately, the way we treat each other. And it really needs to be cleaned up, and that's what actually had me to start hosting my husband and I. As soon as we said, once we get a house, and we got our house, we said, we're going to take New Year's. Because every other so-called holiday, we go over everybody else's house, and I would have to take like a 3-course meal,
Mm-hmm.
to go and visit other family, because I have babies. Now think about how rude that is. So it's one thing if you don't have any food for me to eat, but my babies eat like me. And so you want us to come, you want to see our babies, but then you don't have anything for my children to eat.
Right.
So of course, if I have to, take them to go see family now, I have to pack up all this food and my babies and whatever, when you have children, you have to make sure you take, diapers, another change of clothes, because somebody gonna spill or pee or do something on something. You got to take all that with you, and now you have to take food, whereas everybody else who's going there just have to bring themselves. And so that's a major inconvenience. And what we were saying was, okay, when I entertain, I'm gonna show you how to do it. And that's another way we can be mirrors, or we can show our family and our friends, okay, this is how you do it. So I make sure I don't cook any swine to my house. I don't cook any catfish to my house, but maybe I'll have some whiting fish that I'll fry, even though my husband is vegan. Maybe I have some chicken, and then all my sides will be vegan. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's something that, the meat eaters can fix their plate with their meat, and they can enjoy the sides. We have our drinks and everything. We have music, and we have a good time. And I never have anybody complain. Never. And it's becoming, slowly but surely they're coming around and saying, oh, let's make sure you have a dish, here at our home. They just had to see it, but it's weird. I really don't, I can't wrap my mind around it because I wasn't raised like that.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Well, I'm going to take a moment and go over just the table of contents to give people an idea of some of the things in the book. It starts out with a foreword by our guest, Divine is Earth. And then we have a short article as well on conscious living by a sister named Naisha. And then I do the introduction. Chapter 1, I'm telling you why we need to entertain. Number 2, we go over some basic etiquette. Because look, I know it ain't nobody listening right now who's having problems in this area, but some of us need some help with the etiquette when we sit at the table. It's not always cute. Chapter 3, I talk about setting the stage, just getting your home and yourself prepared to entertain guests. Chapter 4 is about child-focused gatherings, and it gives a lot of different ideas for what you can do for children to keep them interested and get them involved. Chapter 5 is men's gatherings, just some tips on how to deal with men when they come over, especially like if you have a husband and your husband's having brothers over all the time. It's very important to make your home hospitable and make them comfortable. So I have a chapter on that. Chapter 6 is Ladies' Night with some ideas of what women can do to better utilize our time when we're hanging out together instead of gossiping and watching crazy stuff on TV and discussing 50 Shades of Grey or whatever that book is called. What can we do? A little bit better. Step it up a little bit. Chapter 7 is about bringing back Sunday dinner. Chapter 8 is movie night, and I give a couple movie recommendations that are either entertaining or educational for our families. Chapter 9 is about Pan-African culture celebration, and that's a celebration where we find different ways to celebrate our culture around the world. Chapter 10 is Elders Night, how we can focus and really take care of our elders. Chapter 11 is about quality time with your spouse, what you can do inexpensively to spend time and have some good date nights. Chapter 12 is just a few tips on how to make overnight visitors more comfortable. And then we conclude. And throughout the book, you'll find different recipes. I try to be sensitive of people with dietary restrictions, so it's all nut free, soy free, and meat free. There's a lot of recipes that are vegan and a bunch more that could easily be made vegan with just simple substitutions, margarine instead of butter and different kinds of milk, nut milk or something instead of regular milk, all of that kind of stuff. So that's kind of an overview of what the book's about. Did any parts of it kind of stand out to you since you've read it?
Oh yeah. And matter of fact, when I got the book in the mail, like that whole day and next day, I had read the book. I just kept opening, looking at things, nodding my head, and it was quite a couple of things that you put me on task about. And one of those was getting irritated when people show up and don't show up at your door but don't call.
That's right.
Outkast had that song, call before you come. That type of thing. And we've had that, that idea like, oh, people being rude if they don't call you before you come to the door, before they knock on your door, how they know you wanted company. But in reality, you should always be ready. Really, you should always be ready for guests and be dressed and have your children dressed. And so that's just very important. And that was very just on point for me, that to make sure the temperature is right in your home, make sure the sheets are clean. Now, I already knew that, but just that when you're making your home for yourself and you're making that a safe place, you also know that you're eventually going to be making that a safe place for guests. A lot of times when we have our entertaining, people are so welcome, they feel like, hey, I don't want to get on the road late. Can I spend a night here? Hey, no problem. We have extra sheets, extra towels, things like that. Make sure those things are clean so you're not caught off guard. I mean, this book goes into so many different things, and it's so simply written. It's straight to the point. But yeah, don't get upset when people knock at your door and you wasn't expecting them.
Because it's always the day when you wanted to sleep in and you got your hair all crazy and
right.
Always.
Right.
Now, one thing that I like that you added to the book that I hadn't even thought about, because I just gave ideas on, how conscious things that we can do, but you brought up like regular things like going to the prom and how there's Black traditions associated with that. Can you tell us a little bit about what you were saying about proms, because it is prom season?
Oh yes. Well, I was born and raised in Chicago. Most of my people, my parents were born up north, but all my grandparents were born in Mississippi and Alabama. So we're basically like first, second generation Yankees, okay, so to speak. But what my mom and all my aunties, my play aunties and everything would do is anytime there was a prom, and like when me and my cousin were going to prom, they had what they called a prom sit. And it still goes on. They did it for all my sisters and everything. And basically, that night of the prom, it wasn't just get dressed, you meet the date, we take pictures, and send you on your way. They would have the sparkling water. My mother had made like some little wing beans, and she had dip. She had made punch. His mother came. My baby's mother had came over. Some people from my mom's church came. My father was there. And it was just a big thing of me taking pictures with everybody that was there. Whoever was, welcomed at my mom's home, they were eating, waiting for my date to get there. And just a little bit of talking and getting to know who I was leaving out the home with as well, and getting to know his mother as well before everybody sent us off to prom. And that's just how they would do it, and they do it to this day. The people that were kind of raised around our family, and some people do it real big, get little tent covers in front of their house and barbecue. Some people do it real big. We didn't do it like that. But that's common, at least in the area I was raised in, the Humboldt Park, west side of Chicago. So that was very common for the Black folks out there, as far as, people I was around to do a prom sip. And so it ended up not being just something for the teens, but also something for the adults as well. So everybody kicked that night.
That's right. And I really like that because I'm thinking in my mind, I don't like prom. I know the origins and all that. I'm kind of anti-prom, but I'm thinking, I went to prom. I definitely went to prom. I'm not going to discuss what I was wearing to prom, but I did go. And I'm thinking, for a child who's growing up, maybe one parent's conscious, one of them isn't, or neither of them are conscious, they're going to want to go to prom 9 times out of 10. And how cool would that be to just make it a little more acceptable where maybe it is more of a family event, or maybe her dress. I've seen beautiful evening gowns made out of African fabric and all that.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe we could, take something that they're going to do anyway. It's not like it's Christmas or something like that, but something that is peer pressure to do and just try to make it a little bit better to where we can say, okay, well, I'm not really all that in favor of it, but I can live with this. We're going to make it, a little bit better.
Indeed. And another thing folks can think of doing is instead of, if you're not interested in doing a prom for your teens, one of the add-ons of working in the community and creating a situation where your community knows you is, when I was in high school, I was part of the BSU. And the BSU, every February, at the end of February, hosted what they called an Ebony Ball. So this was just like another dance, but it was sponsored by the Black Student Union of high school, and they would have a speaker from the community come and talk about Black history, what have you, and then they had a DJ, and it was, because of course, most of us, the school I went to was highly mixed. When we say mixed, that means predominantly white.
Right. That's right.
Right? And so that was a big thing for us. So think about it. If you try to do something maybe in a company too, you have your if you have young teens that should be pulled to going to prom, well, instead of doing a prom, do an Ebony Ball. Do something that's going to reinvest your heritage within your youth, and you're celebrating. And it also shows those times do give people the opportunity to learn how to dress up, how to eat at a formal dinner, and another time to show how to entertain. If you do want to do like a prom sip or a pre-party sip or something like that. And so that's an idea as well, making the community an extension of your home, and maybe, renting out a community center or something like that and hosting something for the youth.
And I love that idea so much because one thing that I've heard a lot lately about proms is that because of this homosexuality thing, a lot of girls don't even have dates to prom. Like, so many of the boys are homosexual. And so going to prom is not what it used to be. So I love that, what you call it, an Ebony Ball, because you could kind of monitor that and make sure that this is going to be a purely heterosexual function. Ain't going to be no guys coming in skinny suits or, pink or anything like that. And you could kind of regulate it and make it much better than prom would have been. And then, the whole problem is taken care of. You ain't got to deal with the prom at all.
Exactly. And the step one is just like your book, learning how to entertain in your home. When you got that on point, then just multiply that by 10 or by 20 when you want to do big crowds. So the same thing is making sure the place is clean, making sure the food is good, it's tasty, that everybody can eat. Growing up, I was part of the Baptist church, and when the older choir would have what they would call fellowship dinner once a month, one of the things the sisters always did when they was planning what was going to be on the menu, someone would say, well, yeah, I think I'm going to make this, I'm going to bring that. And they would say, well, Mother Green, she got diabetes, so you got to make sure you put this and this in the food, or don't put that in there because, such and such don't got no teeth. You really, that thought of, seriously.
Right.
That thought of saying that everybody, you want to make sure everybody can eat comfortably. And that was something I saw growing up. Like I said, that's very, for those of us that our families that are rooted in the wilderness of North America. You know what I'm saying? Before we go back to the continent now called Africa. So, some of brothers and sisters, they homes may be Haiti, Puerto Rico, and things like that. But for some of us, back home is the South. And that kind of basis of the South was also everybody not only that lived in the same neighborhood treated each other like family. More often than not, they was probably some kin to each other, in reality. So the basis of the etiquette that was in between folks was treating them like family because they probably were or distant cousins, and that extension, somehow we broke between those type of mannerisms because if it, well, I don't know her, so if there's a bone in it, who cares? It gets to the point where now you're in the north and you're watching, well, who cooked that? Because I don't eat everybody's this, that, and the third. You hear a story about people eating other folks' greens, and you look, and when you went to go get you some greens, you seen a rubber band in the pot. You know what I'm saying? That means the person didn't even clean their greens. Just trifling stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So you got people, so you got people not wanting to go to people's house to eat, and so this has made us, we trust McDonald's more than we trust our fellow man to cook for us. We're really in a sad state for it.
You ain't lying, because I'm going to just say, it's people in my family, I will not eat their greens, nor they macaroni and cheese with good reason. Sorry, it ain't going to happen. I will go, and I'm a vegetarian, I will go eat a Big Mac before I will eat some macaroni and cheese.
No.
So I definitely know that's definitely an issue. One thing I'd like to get into, I think I talked about a little bit in the chapter on men, and how entertaining could actually be a vessel to heal our community, because so many men have these women issues. Either their mothers mistreated them or bad experience with an ex, and sometimes having them over to your home and letting them see a healthy environment, cooking for them, not wanting anything in return, just making sure that they're tended to and taken care of, can completely change them over time. I mean, it's not going to happen the first time, but as they see the sincerity in one Black woman, they start to think, well, maybe, Black women are not so bad, and it can be a healing. What do you think about that?
Oh, that's actual fact, and I happen to host not a lot of men gatherings, but my husband is part of a chess club. He's a chessaholic, and sometimes he has to have his makeup meets, and I'm probably saying it wrong, but his makeup tournaments at home here. And so some of the brothers will come, or maybe just one, and then we set up the table in the office so they can play, and I kind of move the children out. So, they need their quiet and what have you. And the first thing I do when they come in and make themselves settle, usually, let them know where the restroom is. Also, offer them a glass of water. Would you like anything to drink? And then if it's in the evening time and it's around dinner time, where I know my family usually will be eating dinner and my husband is going to be eating dinner, I always offer them a plate. Then I get out their face because they not here for me.
Right.
And that's another thing. A lot of us, we figure, a person that came into your house, they're your company. No, not necessarily. They're your company as far as you want to make your home accessible to if they have a need. But it's not my business to sit there and, probe him about what's going on in his household and this, that, and other. Regular conversation as far as, how you been, how's work, tell your wife I said hi, and this, that, and the other. But, after that, hey, give them some time to go play their chess game or watch the game or whatever. And usually, if you have a relationship that's up to par, this person is coming or the brothers is coming beforehand, and you may already have you something set up that you can do where you're not in their face, because that leads to idle hands, it ease the flip of the tongue, where you may say something to your husband that really ain't needed to be said in front of his friends. And so, I thought that was a great add-on to the book, because a lot of us don't know how to deal with company that's not actually your company, and so I thought that was very good. But yeah, the act of just coming in, making sure, because a guy may think that, he may not know that he's supposed to be offered anything when he come in the house. Because a lot of times brothers come to the house and I ask them 2 or 3, I say, you sure you don't want anything to drink? I got some, I felt like, we got something for you to drink. You sure you don't want to eat? I got some food. I don't want you sitting there and everybody eating and you not eating. And I say, oh, okay, yeah, go give me a plate. Some of them haven't been in a situation where, someone has really offered them something, and been honest about, been genuine about offering it, and like you said, don't want anything in return. And so you can really make amends that where they can put in their back of their head, like, that's what I want in my household. That's a sister that's peace. She's nice. And, maybe if I'm looking for a sister, I can ask her if she knows some sisters because she right and exact, So you right on point with that.
Wow. And that's so sad when you really think about it. And it does happen all the time that brothers aren't even used to a sister saying, brother, would you like something to drink? Even if it's water. Like, what's going on with us black women? Come on now.
Right. Are you sure? You want some water? You want some tea? And they like, tea? Well, what kind of tea you got? And sometimes they're not even tea drinkers, but because I asked or I offer, then they'll say, well, yeah, I want some tea, and sometimes I'll be in the midst of making, now it's a smoothie or something, and his company comes over to see him, or even if he has a client that comes over because he works from home sometimes, hey, would you like a smoothie? It has this, and this in it. I don't have any problem telling them what's in it. They might not eat it or they might be allergic to what's in it. And so they say, oh, yeah, I would love to try it, or give me just a little bit. And you do. And, it's just, you were doing it anyway, so it shouldn't be, an inconvenience.
Exactly. And we have a lot of work to do. It's so sad, though, because, and you know what? I was on the Irritated Genies program talking about God's gift, and I was talking about how it's a really good feeling for a woman, a healthy woman, an emotionally stable woman, to serve men. It feels good when they like your food. You're able to bring them that little bit of joy. Can you talk about that a little bit? Because people thought I was crazy.
Oh, I mean, I don't know if people that they must don't cook often, but when you fix a bunch of food and you have people eating your food and they plate is, you know how we get, when food get good, we get quiet,
Right.
And everybody done got quiet, and then they study telling you, oh, Divine, this was good, or what you putting this in? Oh, my goodness, that was good. That's just like a man that gets finished on his lawn or fixing his car. He's like, man, I did that. I did that with my own hands. If you can see the pride in that, making building a house, making a table, a chair, fixing something by hand, then you can understand the pride into cooking something and someone actually feeling good about it in a soup, and then your baby not having a cold anymore because of the soup you made for them. So, I mean, that's a pride that is okay to have, and it makes you feel good.
Yes, ma'am. Now, to all the callers, we're going to be coming to the phone lines in about 20 minutes or so. If you want to get in on the conversation, the number is 760-569-7676. Again, 760-569-7676. The participation code is 948656#. Be sure to hit that pound sign so you can go on and get in queue. We'll be coming to the lines in just a little bit. Another thing I guess I wanted to talk about is one of the excuses I always hear is that I can't entertain people because I don't have any money. And I'm sorry, but black people, it don't matter how poor we are. Historically, it's always been room for another plate. We can make something work. We can stretch it. And really, when you're eating healthy, you're eating a lot of staple foods and things like that. So it doesn't really cost all that much like we try to make it out to be. Is when we're eating Doritos and all that kind of stuff that it starts to add up. Can you talk a little bit about like planning and eating on a budget or entertaining on a budget? Because to me, when I do it, it really does not add a huge expense at all.
Right. And then most of the time when you entertain, you're planning in advance. For instance, I've already set up my menu. If I'm doing something for December 31st, New Year's, and then, going into, the New Year's Day, dealing with Kwanzaa and all that, I'm already setting that up myself about a month or so in advance. I know I'm going to host about 15, 20 people in my home. This is in my mind already. And so then, this is different than, walking up on a broke college student and looking in their refrigerator and there's nothing there, right? That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about people that, are usually working, they have families, and then, or you're a single brother and you want to entertain people for, maybe a football game, a Super Bowl, or whatever's going on. One of the major things to do is, in my judgment, is to look at, always start ironing out what's going to be like my finger food, what are things people are going to snack on. Because a lot of time when you have guests, you got people that are going to eat the entire time that they're there. So it's not just going to be something, hey, we're just going to have the food out for an hour and then it's going to be gone, because usually people are going to be in and out. If you're hosting a party, you might have people that come right at the time that you said you were going to start, and you might have people coming an hour or so before the end. So you want to have some things that people are going to get full on, and in things that you won't mind making a lot of that's cheap, such as a dip, there may be a bean dip. You can start off from dry beans. That's not going to be expensive. It's going to be nice and seasoned. You can have your chips to the side. That's not going to cost you a lot of money. If you're doing chicken, a good thing to do is get the bone-in meat. Everybody wants to get the boneless, but you're getting less meat, less flavor, because the bone isn't in it. The bone gives you more flavor anyway, and they charging you for cutting it, and deboning it anyway. So it's the best to get the whole chicken or the chicken drumsticks. I get drumsticks a lot if I'm doing something for parties, and it has a lot of flavor in there than just that white meat. And so, but planning in advance, thinking of the season, the time, is this going to be a brunch type of thing? Are you holding like a sewing class and you just want to have some guacamole and some vegetables for people to snack on, and they're not going to be doing much eating because they're going to do more arts and crafts. So it really depends on what you're hosting and how they're going to be, entertained. But like you said, if you make a punch, hibiscus leaves, or like you have in the book, that's not expensive, and you can use them leaves about 2 or 3 times to get the juice and the tea out of them. You could make a big old thing of punch with that hibiscus. So there you got, all you need is water and honey, or if you're using raw cane sugar to make you a nice punch with that, blend you some, if you want to make it jazzy, you can blend you some pineapples or something in there to give it a little bit of pop. But that's not very expensive, and no one's expecting you, to be giving them what's those fish eggs and stuff like that,
right.
Or crackers and nothing.
Caviar.
No one is asking for that. So I think it's just about planning, and then also what we have to have a habit of doing, or need to start doing as well, is my mother used to tell me it's always better to have too much than not enough. So when you even do your regular grocery shopping, when you cook, you don't want to just be like, oh, it's 4 of us in the house, so I'm going to make sure I follow the directions to make sure it's only 4 servings or 8 servings. Make you a little bit more, because, you don't know who's going to stop by, who might need to, just want to taste it, and you should be okay with making an extra plate or 2. When you get in the habit of that as well, that like short-term entertaining, big entertaining won't be too far behind, won't be too hard.
That's right. And it starts with cooking for your family every night. Look, if it's the last thing I do, I'm going to make Black women back into homemakers. It's just certain things that we need to know how to do. It don't make no sense for your man to come home all day from work and he sit down at the table and you done microwaved a banquet TV dinner, some Salisbury steak and macaroni and cheese or something like that. It don't make no sense. And then you wonder why he tired and why he got diabetes and why things ain't going well in the intimacy department and all this kind of stuff. Because you killing the brother. Literally, you killing him.
you know, and then you wondering why, you know, right now we have crock pots, you know, even if you work every day outside of the home, at night you can cut up you some vegetables, some onions, some garlic, rinse you off some beans, you know, marinate you some whatever meat, what have you. You can put all that stuff in the crock pot and have it on low. By the time you get home from work the next day, your meal can be cooked, you know, and maybe all you have to do is make a quick little side dish of rice, or you steam some sweet potato, whatever you want on the side, or make a salad. And you just have to be forward thinking. Now, if you don't want to plan, then you're going to fail for lack of planning. So I think that's the problem. We have this very drive-through mentality, and then we have to also understand that the act of cooking isn't just about being a woman's thing. This is survival.
Mm-hmm.
It's survival to know how to cook. It's very ugly. I don't know why people think that, oh, I don't know how to cook. You crazy. What's going to happen if, you know, especially out here where I stay in Louisiana, when the power goes off and it's a hurricane, and you better know how to light that grill, put something on there, you know, because it's no guarantee that all these places you go to for fast food are going to be open.
You know what?
This goes for men and women. This is called, you know, survival. That's a survival skill, to cook.
I'm going to tell you what, before I moved to Detroit, when I was still living in Ohio, we had the remnants of Hurricane Ike come through. And it was real sudden. I mean, it was just like everything was cool. And when I went to Home Depot and I came home and the power was out, people done crashed in each other because the lights wasn't working, all this foolishness. So the next day, power still was out. I'm like, oh, I smell some barbecue. I wonder what my neighbor's barbecuing. Why I go over to their house and these people barbecuing some Krispy Kreme donuts? Right. I need y'all to learn how to cook.
And
it's crazy.
Bad. You know,
that's bad.
You know, that's just sad. You know, it used to be a time you could say, you know, black folks can make a way out of no way. But what is you really doing when you barbecuing Krispy Kreme donuts?
Right.
I mean, that means you didn't have nothing in the house salvageable. You know, I don't endorse having canned foods, but you at least should have, you know, a few canned foods in the house, something dry that you could be reconstituted with water, like some dry mushrooms, dry onions and bell peppers, you know, things that they don't have to be refrigerated, but you can still put them in a pot with some water and cook them. And so those are things that, like their list in the book, they have a list of seasonings. And that's so phenomenal, and something that people really need to add on to their cabinets, because just that salt and pepper and that Lawry's or that seasoning salt is not hitting it. So, you know, you keep those things in your house. You make sure that that in times of need that you can whip something up. And I mean, the act of, like you said, getting our women back in the kitchen, getting our men back into knowing that somebody should be cooking. You know, sometimes men like to cook. You may be in a household that the brother is the cook. You know what I'm saying? Hey, that works. Everybody's household is different.
Right.
But you should know how to make something. If all you know is how to make a gumbo or some Salisbury steak stuff, have you a dish that you have pride in that you make from scratch. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, at least it starts from scratch, even if you have to put a can of cream or mushroom soup in it or something. But it's something that you can make that you really enjoy setting off and saying, oh, you know, that's the dish that people ask you to bring when it's a get together. You should have you a dish like that. So
it's very true, and that's one thing. As far as economics go, you know, it's a recession. People losing jobs. We having all these issues, and that can really strain a relationship when you can't do some of the things that you used to do all the time. And we don't think about how simple some things are. We waste so much money going out to eat. How much easier would it be to have a nice romantic meal at home? For the brothers who can cook. I mean, my husband can cook. He don't cook too often, but every now and then.
Indeed.
Yeah, he cooked last night. He's giving me the eye. Yes, you cooked for me last night, and I appreciate it. It was wonderful. But
Oh yeah.
Sometimes, you might run a little short on money or whatever. Cook and have that dinner at home. You don't have to go out and spend 60, 80, $100 on some nice restaurant when you can get dressed up, light some candles, be right at home. If you have children, maybe send them to their grandmother's house or something like that and still have your quality time. It doesn't always have to be this big expense where we're basically funding our own oppression, because we're not going and spending our money 9 times out of 10 with a black restaurant or a black movie theater or nothing like that. Do it at home.
Exactly. And then cooking teaches so many things. It teaches science, it teaches water, solids and gas and liquids if you're doing homeschooling. And, you want to have the children, help you make something. That's teaching them, how to measure, using measuring cups, even if it's not even for real measure. You say, look, I use a cup and it's just some old cup that's worn down, but you use that as your measurement for whatever it is you're making. That's something that children will always remember, and then you're taking that quality time. Okay, so a lot of times we think quality time is just hugging our children or, playing games with them, but being in the kitchen and showing them how to make something for themselves, that also gives them some pride, whether it's cookies or sandwich, if they're old enough to work the blender, the food processor, also teaching them manner, chores, like washing the dishes, putting the dishes up. My 5-year-old, she can't wash the dishes, but when I wash the dishes and put them on a rack, she'll ask me, Mama, can I take the spoons and put them in a drawer? Hey, go ahead, knock yourself out.
Mm-hmm.
Knock yourself out. And so all this time you're using that kitchen as a place for not only, throwing something in the microwave and drinking some soda and then, putting it in the refrigerator, but using it as a time to really nurture your family, and also using that kitchen as a healing tool, like the seasonings, a lot of the seasonings that you put in your book in Conscious Entertaining, a lot of those are also things you want to have in your house anyway because they can help heal. And so, one of the things I often ask people that may call me for cold and flu and stuff, I tell them, well, go in the kitchen, what you got? And they might say, well, I got some garlic, I might do this, another. But if you don't cook, generally speaking, you might not have none of those things. You might not have no garlic powder or no turmeric or no cayenne pepper. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't cook. And those are some things that's good to keep in the house. Honey, lemons, things like that. They're not just for you to eat, but these are things that can help heal you. You can put in baths, and things like that. So it's good for us to kind of step out of that realm of thinking, oh, this is some backward stuff. This is some Leave It to Beaver. Oh, this woman has, walking around baking biscuits and this. This is livelihood. Everybody should have. That's a skill that everybody should know how to do, is be able to cook something and not be scared of the stove.
That's right. And you were talking about using it to educate your children. And I think I did a pretty good number of recommendations for the children's night, for the children's celebrations.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I said, I'm sorry, was you going to say something?
Oh, no, go right ahead.
All right. I was going to say one of the things that I mentioned in there was having an ice cream social, but making it educational. Like you could do a small presentation, have pictures, make it colorful and fun of different fruits and teach them the health benefits of each fruit, what kind of vitamins and nutrients they have. And then after that, for each one of the fruits you went over, go on and get an ice cream that same flavor. And then afterwards, they can eat the ice cream, have whatever they want. You can even do some fruit toppings for the ice cream. And that will help them remember that health lesson about, okay, well, strawberries do this, lemons do that, because they had the strawberry ice cream, they had the lemon sorbet and all of that. If you're vegan, you ain't got to do ice cream. You can do a sorbet or some kind of vegan option. But it's just a way to reinforce it in a creative way. And then your children know something about health, and then they're not growing up getting diabetes and stuff like that.
Exactly, and then they're not feeling like they have to go outside of their house to have these things. They say, "Oh, I know how to make me ice cream." I know how to make a biscuit. I know how to make popsicles. My mom showed me how to do this, or my dad showed me how to do this. And so, again, that goes back into this pride thing, being that maker and owner of something that you're putting into your body, that you're showcasing to your family, and it's enriching their bodies as well. It's not a problem with saying, hey, I'm proud of doing this. I made my baby birthday cake. I made my husband his birthday cake, and they loved it. Or, I had this, this great salad, and, people are, generally speaking, when people eat something that's just phenomenal, or that it tastes good, every time you see that person again, they'll talk about that one dish you made. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, I was over there and you made this and another. When you making that again, call me. And it builds conversation. It'll have them introduce you to other people you may not have met, and then that's a point of conversation where you can get into other things with people. Everybody likes to eat. Everybody likes to, joke and have fun every now and then. And so this is kind of like an icebreaker, to get into that next level where then maybe later you may be talking about politics or, I really like that part in the book where you talked about how to invite people and, in the ratio of people to invite, like if you have a family member that's really, really religious, then you may not want to invite them and invite a person that is like really hard on some Black Power, anti-Jesus type stuff, and then, because that's going to make for uncomfortable, entertaining a situation. And I thought that was very good, because some people don't know how to invite folks. They just like, okay, I'm having a party, so if I don't invite this person, they'll be mad, and if I do, if I invite this person, then I got to invite this person. No, you have to be strategic, because when you are entertaining at your home, you want to be at peace. You don't want to be having to be a bodyguard for anybody.
That's right. I mean, we don't think about stuff sometimes. I think I put in the book about a wedding I heard about where the dude had been cheating with this woman, and somehow when he went to go get married, somebody invited this woman to the wedding, and she actually had the audacity to show up. Now, luckily, nobody got too seriously hurt, but I have heard several stories that wedding will go down in history. You don't want nothing like that going on.
Right.
You really don't. So,
because it's become a time that people now want to go to gatherings to see a show. It ain't just to have fun. They want to see a show.
Oh, yeah. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be one. That's why we need this book, so we can think these things through.
Indeed.
All right. Well, do you mind if we go and take a couple of phone calls?
Oh, no, not at all.
All right. Now, I'm going to go to the phone lines. I know we have a lot of new listeners, and some people are just listening in. I just saw a couple people drop the line. Don't worry. If you're listening in, just tell me you're just listening, and I will go right on to the next caller. Not a big deal for everybody that just dropped the line because you thought I was going to put you on Front Street, going to call back in. All right. We'll take our first caller. You're live on War on the Horizon. I'm sorry? Are you just listening?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for listening. All right. Let's see. We have another caller, 9763. You're live on War on the Horizon.
A BB48.
A BB48.
How you doing, Quinn? I was just listening to the program. I really got on to it a little late, but I did hear, some of the comments about things that you should, how we should have dry food and stuff like that. I always try, like the Queen said, at least to have several backup canned goods and things of that nature. And, so I'm just pretty much listening to the show. It sounded real good. I'm sad that I got on late and didn't get to hear everything. I'm going to have to go get the replay of it. But, thank you for putting in that work, though, Queen. Definitely. Thank you for putting in the work.
And thank you for calling in.
All right, a BB48.
A BB48. Yes, and I will be trying to get these videos up. I'm a little behind just because I was coming into town yesterday. So I will get caught up hopefully tomorrow. We should be getting all the programs up there that need to be. Again, if you want to call in, the number is 760-569-7676, and the participation code is 948656#. Again, I was thinking about as far as using entertaining to teach children. One thing, or really just people in general, one thing I tried to do with this book was for each recipe, I used some kind of revolutionary. Some of them are people related with War on the Horizon. Other people are historical figures who are popular and and there's a couple that you might not know. I had to research and find some different people who, maybe I hadn't even heard of. So when you're going through the book, if you see a certain name and you're like, okay, well, why'd she name it this or that? If you research it, just Google it, you might find out a little bit more about a revolutionary person, and then you can pass that on to your children as well.
Oh, yeah, and I love that because it's just like, just to give some titles of some of the recipes you have in the book, the Dravidian red lentil soup, the Morena black beans, you have the Yanga corn medley, and it's so good to have that because what it also teaches is that original people and black people are all over the world. So we shouldn't limit our diet or what we're making at home to just meatloaf and mashed potatoes. We can go to a lot of different places, Ethiopian food, Indian food. Some of the roots of Mexican food come from the blacks that have been there for years, and some of the blacks that came there via, the transatlantic slave trade. So it's a way in which you can add that into, your meal planning in the home, and you can jazz it up because people get tired of eating the same old things, and then you're thinking, well, what can I do different? And so I really did like that, and like you said, it makes you happy, like, okay, who are the Dravidians? Well, guess what? Those are the black brothers and sisters that's, in India, the untouchables, let's, tell our children about those people there, that we're everywhere. We're struggling and we have freedom fighters everywhere.
And you know what? I really have to thank you for that because you really inspired me last year when you started talking about cooking from all over the globe. That's the best way to be vegetarian and avoid a lot of processed junk food is instead of trying to substitute your American diet to go on and cook a little of this, a little of that. And I have been experimenting with some Indian here and some Mexican there, but I've really been doing a lot more of that. African food, be it Northern African, Ethiopian, Western Africa, South Africa, wherever, and just finding some of those healthy plant-based foods and doing that, because then you're not worried about always having to replace the meat and what am I going to eat. And it's things that already agree with your palate because we pretty much eat similar stuff all over the world. We just prepare it a little bit differently here or there.
Oh, yeah. It's a dish that I always make for our New Year's Eve party, and it's an Ethiopian cabbage. And, black folks, they don't want their cabbage or their greens with their black-eyed peas for New Year's Day, right? So, if you're doing a cabbage, we're used to having cabbage and potatoes. So, but what's different about this cabbage and potatoes? Because either using the Burberry seasoning, seasoning, or I'm using curry powder. And so the basis of the dish is not anything different. It's cabbage. Most people know cabbage. Most people know potatoes, carrots. But I'm adding a little bit of ginger, a little bit of curry powder, salt and pepper. And so that changes the seasoning a bit. I might make it a little bit spicy, so that's changing the seasoning a bit. And it jazzes it up, and it's like, man, I've never tasted this before, but you've had cabbage and potatoes before. My seasoning is just different. And so, that's another way into bringing, people that would think they never would eat anything, different. Some people don't think they'll eat anything different, than the regular, I'm just a meat and potatoes type of person or a meat and rice type of person, but you just done hit them on to a dish that's, from another country. So, and it's so easy to do. YouTube is one of those things. I say, get you some good recipe books from black folks, including conscious entertainment, and then YouTube it if you need a visual. Because there's so many different recipes on there, and some of them are very simple.
Yes, ma'am. And a lot of those are inexpensive too. Cabbage is cheap, lentils are cheap, peas and rice
Exactly.
cheap. That's why you out there spending $200 a week on food. And usually when I go to the grocery store, I spend for me and my husband, I say about $50 to $60. If we had the children here, no more than 75. Because we're eating those staple foods that a lot of people turn their nose up at, but then when they see them prepared, they trying to eat the whole dish. So
Mhm. Mhm.
I'm going to go back to our phone lines right quick. Looks like we have a couple people calling in. One moment. Let's see here. All right. You are live on War on the Horizon.
All right. I just wanted to call. I'm enjoying the program.
Thank you. Oh, this must be the irritated genie of Southeast.
Somebody like that.
How you doing?
I have a question because, it's a nice, girly show, and I like it, and I've never been able to ask this question, but I can ask y'all now. Okay, I love, entertainment things when people have stuff, right? I love to have it at the house and all these kind of stuff, but I never have a clue what I'm supposed to do. Pretty much, like one story, I did it one time. We were having people over, and I had a grill, and all I had was meat, turkey dogs or whatever, and they laughed at me and stuff. But I don't know what to do, so I stopped doing them. But I like to have them. So the queen is doing it. What can a dude like me that's a very not knowing what to do? What does a man supposed to do other than put the tables up and stuff over and stuff like that? What am I supposed to be doing?
Well, I would say one of the things that you can do, before the actual day and the day of, if there's anything on the house that needs to be fixed, if the toilet is jingling, and the chain needs to be fixed, if there needs to be some clean sheets put on the bed, just in case you got some company coming, if you can go get ice, get drinks, then you might have to do the running around. If the queen is doing the cooking and actually being the hostess, you might have to run for her. Ask her, do you have everything? Do you have the paper cups and the plates and things? So you might have to run back and forth to the grocery store for a little bit. So I usually keep my husband pretty active when I'm entertaining. It's always something that I need or I didn't think of. Things that may need to be carried in, setting up the table, the chairs, maybe hooking up the DVD player and making sure the entertainment type of things is working correctly, the music and whatnot, making sure, we always need y'all brothers too, because we always need security. You never know, even though you're willing that everybody comes in peaceful, you never know, you're going to have some people that bring unexpected guests, people who weren't invited. So your presence is always needed. So it's not one of those things where, the queen don't need me, she has this under control. We need you there because there's always things that come up. It's always good to have one or two brothers that you know and trust at any event, even when it's, an event that's supposed to be just women. Sometimes you need a brother that just stop by and say, hey, how everybody doing? And just, look like he's going on his way. But we might need you still there. So it's quite a few things you can do.
And I would say too.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say too. Try to have something to do. Like even board games, like the regular board games that everybody play, and usually to be boring, some Scrabble or some Pictionary or something. When you get some revolutionary, conscious people around and they start playing them ordinary games, it gets to be very interesting with some of the stuff that we come up with. So, even those corny board games can be very fun if you got the right mix of people. And I know your people are interesting, so.
Oh, yeah, playing Scrabble and talking trash, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, okay, that's why I really appreciate black women so much, because I'm being 100% honest. I feel kind of deficient in the fact I really don't know. I like I know how to get a bunch of dudes and we go out and get something to eat, but actually setting it up where people come and have a good time, unless it's a fight or something, I really don't know how to do it. But am I I understand I'm not supposed to know how to do it. I'm supposed to be, this time I can take a back seat and help the queen do stuff, and I don't have to feel bad about that.
Because
you know, at the basis of entertaining with our people, you know, there needs to be some music, something going on in the background, even if it's just low, because you don't want silence. So it needs to be some music. It needs to be clean. You know, your kitchen, your bathroom, every part of your house needs to be clean, but especially kitchen and the bathroom, and always have some type of paper towel in the bathroom so your guests don't have to use your dry towel to wipe their hands. Okay, so you always want to have some paper towel, something where they can wipe their hands and then throw it in the bathroom trash. And you always want to have a bathroom trash bag or anything there, because, you know, some women may be dealing with, you know, sanitary issues, and just having a place to, you know, wipe up and clean up, and that stuff isn't supposed to be flushed down your toilet. So you know you want those places clean. You know you want music. If you haven't, you know, sit down with your mate and talk about the menu. What do you want? If you know y'all eat meat, you know you need meat and some sides. You know what I'm saying? You want the meat sides. You need some type of dessert. You know, a fruit salad. You know, have your input on what you like. You know, and then that'll help out too, because you don't want to be nowhere host anything, and then nothing on the menu is nothing you want to eat. So, you know, there's ways to add on there, but the very basics is just like how the Queen said, you know, Lady Shabazz, have some games. I love to play spades. I'm a cards player, so I love to play spades, but having some, you know, other games out, having some music, and the food and the table's already set up. You know, maybe you're able to greet people at the door while maybe she's bringing the food out on the table. But it's a lot for you to do. It ain't no just sitting on your hands till all the company gets there.
Right.
It's a lot for you to do.
You're getting a slight pass just because we know that the kitchen might not be the best place for the irritated genie. But there are some recipes in the book that's easy enough that the irritated genie could do some little bean dips or something like that.
Wait a minute now.
Yeah, you can do that.
Putting on some flavor now. You're going too far now.
Well, look, okay. At the minimum, make sure the grill is fully assembled. Go on and cook it. Okay, yeah. Just make sure it's
I got the grill. I can do the grill. I can take the grill. I got the grill.
You got the grill assembled, and okay, so you got the grill assembled. You got your hot dogs. Your queen got the side dishes. So yeah, you just really got to be yourself. I mean, you know, you got the personality. You entertaining. Just sitting back and watching you grill will probably be entertaining for me. I think watching you make the bean dip would be better. But you know, have your TV on or whatever. If you got a lecture or something you want to pop in and philosophize about it. You know, just your personality alone is enough. But yeah, if you were not the irritated genie, I would say get in the kitchen. But I want you to have a house tomorrow. I don't want it to burn down.
It would get burned down. That'd be terrible.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I just want to make sure. So if you're the brother like me that's not great at this stuff, then he can ask basically what I'm hearing y'all say is ask the woman what are the other things. The music, I got that. Grill, I got that. Putting stuff and carrying, getting stuff, I got that. But then let her set up the rest of the stuff. And I don't be knowing like the little game stuff. Let her set all that stuff up, right?
Yeah, let her do that.
Well, yeah. You know, if she got a theme for the party, you know, it might be some decorations she putting up, or she'll need you to put up. And, you know, and also, when you say you don't know what to do, something just as simple as when every guest comes in the house, you ask, hey, how you doing? And how's such and such been? And do you want some water? You know, be the person to direct. Because sometimes people want that cue to say, hey, go get something to eat. So you're coming into the main room where hey, you guys, the hot dogs are done. They right here on the table. You want some punch? The punch is over here, man. Hey, help yourself. Something as simple as that can help conversation go, and it kind of keeps the party moving.
Okay.
You good?
I think I'm good. I think y'all making a decent human being out of me tonight. I feel good. I'm appreciating this.
All right. Well, thank you for calling in. We appreciate it.
Thank you. I really, really, really enjoyed the show.
Thank you.
Thank
Peace.
you.
A beautiful.
All right.
Now that is a party I would want to go to. I've never witnessed him in the kitchen, but I've heard him talk about his hatred of cooking like 1,000,001 times over the air, and I would just pay to see him trying to do that. I would pay, and then I would YouTube it. I would do a pay-per-view YouTube airing of the irritated genie in the kitchen.
But he touched on, he had some great questions like, well, what do I do? Because a lot of times you're thinking, especially if this is your first time throwing a party, a lot of us growing up, our moms was the ones that threw the party for us if we had birthday parties or anything like that. So all we had to do was just show up, put on our dress and look cute. But when you turn into being the actual hostess, then it's like, okay, well, what do you do? And one of those things that you do is you're the one that kind of keeps the conversation going. You're greeting people when they come in. You're telling them, hey, you can get you something to eat. The utensils are here. The plates are here. You're making sure that everybody knows where the restroom is. You're keeping conversation flowing. You're making sure that there's appropriate conversation. If you see something is going somewhere where it shouldn't go, you can make a light joke, and move the energy. So it's kind of, really learning how to socialize with people as well.
Exactly. I'm going to go on to the next caller and see if they have a comment. 2874, you're live on War on the Horizon. 2874, question or comment? All right. And 5469, you're live on War on the Horizon. 546, Hotep, you there?
Yeah, I'm just listening, just tuning in.
All right, well, thank you for listening. So again, the topic of the program tonight is conscious entertaining, how to entertain at home and not spend all of our money with people who are going to oppress us and give us poison in return. Dial in number 760-569-7676. Participation code 948656#. And we also have to realize, too, there's a difference between entertaining for men and women. Because women, we like all the details and, ooh, she had these plates and these napkins and this decor. Look, men don't care. So if you entertaining for men, you ain't even got to do all that. Just have some good food. Had a game on or your movie or whatever you gonna do, boxing match or whatever. And it's very simple. Men don't really need all of that, to have a good time. They're not that detail oriented where you really have to plan it out. So men is pretty much not a stressful thing.
Right. And yeah, because as long as the place is, you want to have your house clean anyway, but as long as that place is halfway clean and they can get food and something to drink, they're okay. They're not going to trip, But, and like you said, us women, we want the plates, do they match and is there utensil? You want to make sure you have a serving spoon for every dish that's out, so they don't have to use the utensil that they're actually going to eat with to gather up their food and make their plate. You're starting to get into some other, details. And it's best to learn how to do these things because, that's a way for if you have children that's graduating, that you can host something in your home and you don't have to go out to dinner. That's money. Okay, they just graduated. You can get them a new outfit. Whatever money you done gave them for graduating, now you got to give, Chili's or Applebee's, their graduation money. When you can have something at your home and invite people there for a party or a barbecue. And so, it's a bunch of different ways that we can entertain our people and, and keep it nice and simple. It doesn't have to be, I think sometimes we get so caught up into these reality TV shows that, we think our stuff is supposed to look like the Real Housewives every time we throw a party. And it don't got to be like that.
That's right. And I'm about to go back to the phone lines in a minute, but I do want to add that if no other place in your house is clean and you having somebody over there, at least clean your kitchen and your bathroom. Don't nobody want to eat out your kitchen if it's nasty. I mean, they might not talk about you. They might talk about you, but even if they don't say it to your face, they're judging you. Don't have your kitchen nasty and then try to serve some food out of it. Don't do that. And the bathroom.
And you know you. Oh yeah, go ahead. I didn't want to interrupt you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just saying the bathroom. You know people gonna be using it, so make sure that your toilet is clean. Don't nobody want no stains, no nasty stuff all up around the bathroom. Just keep it clean. And clean your tub out too, because some people are nosy and they will look behind your shower curtain. Don't act like your tub can just be gross and pull your shower curtain. Ain't nobody gonna know. People will talk about you. Don't do that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And ladies and gentlemen, if it's a situation where you use your bathroom to dry your underwear, we being real here, real adults, sometimes you may have accident, underwear, menstrual, situations, and you don't wash your underwear in the sink, and hey, you hanging it in the bathroom, whatever, that's your business. But make sure you pick up in the bathroom when you have company, even if you have more than one bathroom, because you never know. If somebody's in the main bathroom, what you consider the guest bathroom, and you have more than one guest, and someone needs to use the bathroom, then they got to use your bathroom, your personal bathroom. So now, one, they're going to have to go through your bedroom to make sure your bed is at least made and picked up, and they got to go to your restroom. They don't, they go to a man or, even another woman, but you got a male guest going to your personal bathroom, and you got your panties hanging from the hanging from the top of the bathtub, the shower, handle and everything like that. So you never know what's going to happen or who's going to need to go where. So just, be mindful of that.
That's right. Tact goes a long way, and tact ain't just what comes out of your mouth. It's the things that you do. Yeah, be careful, especially, you're having some male guests. We gonna do better. All right, going back to the phone line. This is my brother. You are live on War on the Horizon.
Hotep, this is Shabazz, and Hotep to your guest.
Hotep.
Definitely a good conversation, and I called in actually to announce Baba Baruti and Mama Ya Baruti's fundraiser. But before I get into that, I want to make or ask a question about the topic in regards to when you do have company over. I've had issues where, family, friends, or whoever come over, and they use the bathroom, and they dry their hands on your good towels.
Mm-hmm.
The towels that you just have up for display, for decoration. And there's nothing more frustrating for me, and after a party or after a get-together or something like that, to go in your bathroom and see that somebody or several people has actually dried their hands on your decorative towels. And that's kind of like a pet peeve of mine. You know what I mean? So I was wondering if anybody else feels like that, and what I've learned to do, which is pretty much common sense, is to put a towel out, so that people can dry their hands, because you'd be surprised at how many people will actually dry their hands on good decorative towels.
Oh, yeah. And, I like to keep paper towels, because I don't want people drying their hands on my decorative or my regular home, the towels that I usually dry my hands on. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I just don't know. So I'd rather have paper towels. And what I usually do is, put it behind the toilet. Some people actually even put a little dispenser where they have a little paper towel there. When you have company, and guess what, they wash their hands. I prefer using a squeezable soap when you have company, so they can just, use the dispenser, wash their hands. They see the paper towel there, and they just throw it in the trash, and there's nothing you got to deal with at all.
Definitely. I appreciate that advice. And Sister Shabazz, I just want to take a moment to announce the fundraiser for Akabin Institute. On June 1st, we'll be having a concert and spoken word event at Morris Brown Auditorium here in Atlanta. And we're inviting the community out. For those who live outside the city and outside the state, you can also participate in the fundraiser by giving a donation There's a 30-minute video of Akabin Institute on YouTube, so you can go to YouTube and just type in Akabin Institute, AKOBEN Institute, and Baba Baruti has taken the time to put up a 30-minute video talking about the school, and it's very informative. And we're also offering book packages, book and DVD packages for those contributions from $50 to $75 to $100. So we have book and DVD packages for those who want to contribute, extra amounts of money. And we also have, Sister Shabazz, I know you'll like this, we have a Bibi Fahodier armbands.
Uh-oh.
So, and those are on sale on the website as well as a way to support the school. So, again, encouraging all the listeners, all of you who have purchased Baba Baruti's books in the past, we know his history. We know what this school is about. It's a school for warriors, and we ask all those who can to contribute generously to the cause.
Well, thank you. And can you give the website one more time for everybody?
Okay, the website is Akabin House, AKOBENHOUSE.com, AkabinHouse.com. And to see the video, you can go to YouTube and type in Akabin Institute, and it'll pull up a 30-minute video that Baba Baruti has made outlining the school, the curriculum or sovereignty plan, and what the school actually stands for. It's a fully funded, independent, African-centered school that doesn't take a dime of government money at all. So it's really on us, the community, to keep this school going.
Definitely. We will go over there and we will get our armbands, purchase a book, or just make a straight out donation, and definitely support, because we all know we love the Barutis on War on the Horizon.
Appreciate, sister.
Thank you.
Appreciate that, sister. Bibi Fahodier, and y'all have a good night.
Bibi Fahodier.
Peace. Thank you.
And I will be going right back to the phone line, but I did just want to mention that because it's something we haven't touched too much on. Speaking about Baba Baruti and just elders in general, there is a chapter in there on elders. And I felt like it was important to put that in because I know in my family, I've lost a lot of people in the last 10 years, and you don't realize until they're gone. These people are gone. All their history, all their knowledge, everything. You can't get that back. I mean, family lineage and how it was when they were coming up and the things that they had to face and their struggles, all that is gone. So I really wanted to put that in the book and say how important it is to have nights where you honor the elders, where you put them in a position where they can speak and teach you, because a lot of times it's so sad. The elders just want us to listen to them. They just want to share their wisdom with us. And we're too busy. We don't listen. We don't care. And actually, I used one of Baruti's videos as inspiration for that chapter when he was talking about Africans and how they, quote unquote, babysit and how that works in their communal system. So I definitely want to send a shout out to Baba Baruti for giving me the inspiration for that chapter, because I think it's important. It really is.
Oh yeah, most definitely. They say give our elders and give people their flowers while they're here. Because when they dead, it's too late, and that can be as simple as, if you want to do a recognition night for them, if your grandfather used to be a firefighter, or he used to do something in the community, and you want to, recognize him and bring some people over and really give them some time. This is another thing about entertaining. It might be a time where everybody has to be quiet, the music goes off, and you give that person that time to speak, to tell a little bit about their story, how they got here, how they made it to their 50th year anniversary, how they, how was it when they were working at the Ford company for X amount of years before they retired. Give them that chance to speak, and you'll be surprised at how much you can learn from somebody, speaking for 20 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Just on thanking you for acknowledging them and then telling a little bit about their own history.
Definitely. And you can learn so much. So if you're still lucky enough to have a lot of elders in there, then you can just take turns and have one night for each of them, but do it consistently and learn your lineage, learn your family, learn all that. There's so much that we just don't know. I just found out the other day there's these two new tennis sensations coming up. Or is it golf? I think it's golf. But yeah, golf. I'm related to these two girls. They're my cousins. I think Ginger Howard and somebody else. That's my kin. Did I know? No, somebody had to tell me. I would have never known. And it's a lot of people, a lot of things like that. Y'all going out and meeting these people haphazardly, not even worried about it. One day this your boyfriend, the next day this your boyfriend. Don't know, that could be your kin. You better watch out. You better learn your history.
That could be your cousin.
That's right. You better learn your history.
Nowadays, it could be your brother or your sister, the way people living now.
That's true. And that's what happens when we don't bring people around, when we don't value our elders, and we want to live any kind of way. We really need to get this together. So I thank Brother DJ for calling in and telling us that. And we all definitely want to support Baba Baruti and the school and all of the good work that him and his complement do. We definitely appreciate him and Sister Ya. We love them both. And I'll go right back to the phone lines. I didn't want to detour it too much, but I did just want to mention that because I really think that's an important part of the book that we really should not overlook. 6560, you're live on War on the Horizon. Hotep King, how you doing?
I'm doing good, baby for Hodie.
Baby for Hodie.
This is awesome. I love Angela Freeman's work. And the conscious entertaining return of the domestic goddess. This might have me up on some Claire Huxtable work. Hey, I don't know though. Do you want the good news first, or you want the bad news?
I don't know. You know what surprised me?
Okay. I get the bad news out of the way. I think you're a small head sister, Shabazz.
I might be.
You like pumpernickel bread and
I like pumpernickel bread. You better leave my pumpernickel bread alone.
I don't remember where I seen it at, but I seen the recipe in there talking about some kosher sugar.
You know why? Let me tell you what's up with sugar, why I need to be kosher. Because sometimes they grind sugar up through pig bones. And yeah, so it could be some swine in your sugar if it don't have that little kosher symbol on it.
So the small heads eat that good sugar. Okay.
That's right. You better get that good sugar for your Kool-Aid. Don't be using that bootleg sugar in your Kool-Aid.
Yeah, I like page 46. I think that's my favorite page. I'm gonna have to get that page autographed when Water Rise is going that Midwest tour.
It could be.
I like, huh?
I said, yeah, it should be since that's the page with your recipe on it.
Yep. I like chapter 5 and chapter 6. I mean, it's some of the stuff is so practical, and I think that this is groundbreaking for bridging the gap between the modern Black woman and what we know as those foundational matriarchs in our family that held us together and always brought us together and made it just good to be around, family and friends. Like chapter 5 really goes into, that was huge in my first marriage. It was always a competition between, the camaraderie or the brotherhood that I had with my boys, So I became very isolated from my road dogs, and that's horrible for that to happen to a male because we you know what I'm saying, we need to let our hair down too.
Mm-hmm. And that's one thing I say, women always want to be nosy and be worried, where my man at? Well, guess what? If you entertain him at home, you know where your man is.
Right, exactly. So practical. and also chapter 6 too, because the sisterhood is just as important. I don't want to go get I don't want to go get my fingernails done. I'm hearing about males that's going to get their fingernails done and getting their eyebrows arched with their women.
No. Please don't do that. If you're doing that, well, if you listen to War on the Horizon, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt that ain't nobody listening doing that. But if you are doing that in secret, please stop.
Yeah, but this is the perfect one too for God's gift. It's a knockout.
Thank you. I definitely appreciate that.
I would love to stay on the line with y'all, but the Watoto is she needs me right now.
No problem. You give your daughter a kiss for us, and we will see you on the battlefield.
Okay, so Bibi Fahodie.
Bibi Fahodie. That is our brother Body Shots, and if you have not seen his lecture on small hats and black leaders, you need to cop that. I just saw it for the first time, I think last week, and I was so proud. My brother, he's so hostile, but he gives such a good lecture. I said, go ahead. It's a proud sister moment. Definitely. I guess another part of the book we touched on really briefly was the culture celebrations. And I know that's something that'll probably be pretty popular now just because of the release of Hidden Colors 2. And a lot of people kind of seeing that we are global. Did anything stick out in that chapter to you?
Yeah, the having the DVD nights, I thought that's very good, for getting folks together. Making it a situation where, again, you're not spending your money outside of the community, you know what I'm saying? That could be something where everybody brings a dish. Hey, we're gonna watch this DVD, or watch this old Khalid Muhammad, DVD, or we just gonna do some bunch of DVDs back to back, or we're gonna watch Sankofa, let's do this, let's do that. Everybody bring a dish. And now you're getting everybody involved. You're telling, this person, you bring the beverages, this person bring napkins and plates. And then, so it's a communal thing. And then you're talking about what you're seeing. Then when it's a DVD, you know how we like to talk over stuff. You can pause it. Well, I don't agree with that. And what you think about this? And then, well, hold on, brother, let's watch this again. Let me rewind and listen to what the brother said. It's a great way to build, conversation, and also be able to question, what you're hearing and seeing, and even, I know it was very controversial, but even like with Django or something, you know what I'm saying? You get the DVD, y'all bring it back and have put the babies up or what have you, or send them to their grandparents' house, and you there with other, people of like minds, and you pause it, what you think, and this just regular good conversation that you can now have in the comfort of good friend's home. And when you have good friends, they name their family. And so, I thought that was wonderful. And one of the, things, people say that, entertainment is so expensive. DVD night is not expensive at all, at all. Whoever has the DVD, and then everybody brings something. That's simple. You just provide the location.
Exactly. And, we definitely don't support bootlegging, so you definitely want to buy the original if that person is still alive and can profit off of it. But,
exactly.
It's so many educational documentaries and things like that you can get, and you'll learn, or you'll start to be able to pick out African traditions within these people, whether they're in Asia, South America. You'll say, oh, that's us, because so much of it has been taken from us. And if you can't afford those documentaries, sometimes they can be expensive. You go to the library. People don't realize how much is available at the library. You can go there and get all kinds of DVDs and CDs and things like that, and just start looking for your own culture. Teach your children, okay, well, karate did not come from Asia. That came from us, and start picking out those pieces and giving them a sense of pride and dignity in themselves, and seeing what has been stolen from us, pretty much.
Indeed, indeed. And being able to do that, like, again, the luxury of having that in the comfort of your home where you can be safe. People is cutting up out there in the streets. And it's a way of not being isolated. Because, you know, in some ways, people are saying, okay, we have so much technology, people don't want to go outside, you know, people are just stuck in the home. Well, you can make your home be a place of entertainment. You know, be a place where you're still not isolated, that you're just socializing in a place where you can control what's going on. And that's always best.
That's right. I mean, we spend a lot of time in our home. I like being at home. We have a good time. But a lot of single people will tell you, you know, oh, you ain't got no life. You don't go out. You don't do this. You don't do that. You can have every bit of a good life being right there in your home. You can have much more fun than these people going out, clubbing, getting drunk, having a hangover the next day, sloppy, messing up their life, making decisions that they're going to have to deal with for the rest of their life because they need to go out and seek entertainment. When you're at home chilling, having a good time and taking care of your family, being where you should be as a responsible adult. You know, a lot of times we have these families and we're not ready for them. We're not ready to really put in that time. We still want to go out and do this and do that. But as a responsible adult, you need to be at home. But as a normal person, you also have to be able to enjoy that time at home.
Right. If it gets to the point where you're resentful of being at home, get out, get you some air. You know, of course, getting sunlight. You know, going to the park. Going to the zoo if you have children, if you know, don't have a problem with going to the zoo or what have you. Those are great things. We're not saying you never want to go anywhere, but we're also saying that to entertain can bring the family together, can bring intimacy within your own relationship, can bring you closer together with your children. When you do things at home and you're not always looking for outside gratification, because that's what happens when people end up being by themselves. Oh, no one's called me on Friday to go nowhere, this, that, and the third, because they don't have peace in their own self. I don't care if nobody called me to not go.
That's right.
I'm saying I done did enough kicking it and wilding out and cutting up, that I'm in quite bad. I get out too long. One of my things is if I'm out too long, I either want to be in my house or somebody else's house that I know. You know what I'm saying? If I'm going to be doing the all-night thing, I'd rather be at some family house where, everybody in there playing cards, all the children, that old school kicking it, where everybody in the house and the older folks, it's generational, so it's not just young folks. It's teenagers, it's babies, it's the elders, it's the people that's between 20 and 35. You got all that. You got food, and you got people talking mess over here, playing cards over here, and the kids and babies running all around. I love that type of, entertainment. I love it because it's generational, and there's so much you can learn, and it just feels, if you have a safe family environment, it's very safe, and it's fun. It's that good fun. That's that fun. I don't mind being out all night if I'm in that environment, in that home space. So I don't have to worry about, fools acting up all in the street. At a certain time, you should just be to your house. So after a certain time, ain't nobody out on the street for people who, ain't doing nothing you need to be getting into, hustling and whatever else. So it's best to be home.
That's right. That's right. And I know one thing that you have brought up is, we kind of look to the elders in our family to do these things and put on these events. And one thing that we've been noticing lately, and I hate to say it because I'm not old, but we are slowly becoming the elders, even in terms of knowledge. A lot of the elders are really not working in our interest anymore. They really have lost their militancy and all of that. So it's really time for them to go on and go relax somewhere and let other people take over. So we're becoming elders younger and younger just because we're the ones who have to qualify ourselves for that. And I think it's the same thing with this in a sense, because I don't know if it's just my family, but I know when I was coming up, my grandparents always had all kinds of stuff going on. And now that the torch was passed to their children, they don't really do it that much. Family really ain't coming together and tight like it was. So really, it's going to be, if it's going to happen, it's going to be up to us to take that elder position. And even if we don't know exactly how to entertain, to just go on and get our feet wet and learn. You'll make mistakes like Jeannie said. He had some hot dogs that time you got talked about. Well, next time you know and you do better. I mean, you trial and error. But we got to start doing these things again, because this is the kind of stuff that keeps our families together. And right now, our families are not together. Unfortunately, our parents, some of them, maybe it's just me, but a lot of their generation is just not doing what needs to be done as far as keeping us together and as far as that elder spirit. So we got to kind of pick up the slack.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. You know, you got people that, some of our, and I'll say they're older people, not so much elders, because to me, an elder carries a certain type of title and ranking. So
that's true.
I just say some of the older people, they done retired, got them a little bit of money. They got their house done up the way they want their house done. They don't want nobody to come through their house. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? For me, they mess it up. So what type of entertaining is going to happen there if they don't want nobody there? You know what I'm saying? And so, it's a situation where they could tell you all the stories of, Big Mama or somebody older than them that always had these, knockout parties or, great entertaining where, in the country, or just everybody was welcome. And they telling you these stories and you looking at them like, well, why you don't do that if you said you had such a great time? Why you don't do that? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's something, it's this gap that has occurred. And like you said, it's us kind of stepping in and kind of showing them, okay, you're not going to do it. Well, we're going to, send Kofa. We're going to go back and fetch it. We're going to bring it back to the present.
That's right. That's right. And for, all these people thinking it's not important and, you just going to do your work, you out in the street doing whatever. Until you have a strong family, it ain't going to be no strong communities. You can do all the coat drives and food drives or whatever you want. But until we get our families together, one family at a time, it's going to be in vain, because you're going to give this person a coat and then in 15 years, their children going to need a coat too. We need to get this together.
And the family is the first nation.
That's right.
Family is the first nation. And so you got to build that up and make sure it have a strong foundation, or you'll mess around and there'll be a situation where, it's kind of like make sure, how some of us say that, oh, yeah, you got to be prepared for this survival and this, that, and the other. Yeah, you better be prepared. But if you're not making sure the people around you is prepared, if you prepared and then, stuff hits the fan and they see you the only one prepared, then you're going to be fighting some folks. Because you ain't done made sure that that there's a solid foundation, because now they trying to get yours. So when we teach and we build it, we want to make sure that, our family understands that's going to be an extension of your family, and grow. And look, we having parties, we having a little jumper outside, and getting back to, if you got it like that, if you can do block parties, so you can, that's another way to be nosy, so you can see who all in the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Who related to who, and who mama is that, and this, that, and the third. I mean, you got to do those things, because, the way we are as a people, yes, I don't care where you are, whether you're in a rural area or an urban area, people want to know that they know who you are, even if they don't know you. That's the only way you're going to really work in the community. So they see you, dealing with your children. They see you saying hi, how you doing as you're walking down the street. You become familiar to them. And they might even invite you to, simple things like their children's graduation that they be barbecuing for. And they might say, hey, come through, my child is graduating. Remember, you used to walk her to the bus stop, or this, that, and the third. You'll be surprised. So, starting at home, then you'll start to see it, trickle down to every place else, to other families.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I think that just about wraps up this program. So I want to thank you so much for coming back again. And I look forward to the next time. You got to keep coming back.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, and you're doing phenomenal work, and I'm just glad to be a part of history, really, because if I don't know if I'm the only one saying this, but if we have some of the sisters I know they deal with MGP and GCC who's dealing with that fascinating womanhood or fascinating woman book, they need to be putting conscious entertaining right beside that book. You know, in their training units and adding on as being, a woman intended to the household. And I'm definitely encouraging it in my circles as well. So I'm just happy to be a part of and much success to you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you again, and I will be talking to you really soon.
Indeed. Have a glorious evening.
You too. Peace.
Peace.
All right, well, that brings us to the close of another Message to the Black Fam program, but stay tuned because Brother DJ is coming up right behind me. He's going to be asking the question, Black woman, why are you misusing your power? That is definitely going to be a very interesting show, so stay tuned for that. I do just want to say again for the people who may have tuned in late that we do have a new program on War on the Horizon. It will be Wednesday night, so that'll be tomorrow, 7 to 9. The Sovereign Haiti Initiative. The title of the program is Live Free or Die. We'll be posting whatever their specific topic will be tomorrow on the War on the Horizon page. You can purchase my book, Conscious Entertaining, on waronthehorizon.com in the store. So definitely look around, get that, and get Body Shot's lecture as well. It was phenomenal. Be looking next month for Brother Omawali and United Front's CD, Cypher Incomplete. That's coming your way as well. And I think that does it pretty much for the announcements. So I thank everybody for tuning in. Usually I do a program every 2 weeks, but actually next week I will be doing another program. I'm going to have Brother Jahi Issa on. I know everybody that was listening and knew about the lynchings in Delaware should be familiar with Brother Issa. We're going to be talking about the progression of that, where we stand at this present time, and just kind of update you a little bit, go over the history and then update you. So tune in this next week, actually, same time, same place. I will be here with Brother Issa, and then during May, I have some phenomenal programs lined up for you. We're going to be doing a God's Gift series all summer long, so just keep tuning in. We have a lot waiting for you coming up very shortly. So I'm going to go on and close out here. Stay tuned for Brother DJ and the Cypher program. Peace.
Your conference recording has stopped.